Prick up your ears.
The sound of DTM.
My car sounds like music to my ears.
My favorite sound when the car is leaving the pits.
My favorite sound, the cheering of the fans. Crank it up. My favorite sound, the silence before the lights go green. Full blast.
Downshifting from full speed. When I rev up my engine to its absolute limit. Too close to cool. Cheering on the podium.
Be aware.
It's gonna be loud!
Hello everyone from Hungary. We're here at the Hungaroring and it's the 8th race weekend. That means only 4 more races to go, so it's all about the title of the championship. And I'm here with Eduardo Mortara. You're the second in the championship at the moment, and today you're starting in pole. That means first part of the job done, and when you went through start and finish, you were screaming out loud, so I bet that was a big relief that was falling off your shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, we know that we have to do everything perfect, for the remaining 4 races that we have this year. Starting, in Budapest, and obviously, when the qualifying, are going well, it's already a big part of the job that is done, and I was pretty happy. Yes.
So you have a good feeling for the race?
Well, I'm starting on pole, so obviously, it's there are worse places to start from, but it can always go wrong. You have to always be, very focused and do the perfect job. So let's see.
All right. Best of luck for the race. And before we have a look at the race here in Budapest, let's look back at the Nürburgring.
Once again, he was an example of consistency. Once again, he was on the top step of the podium. Marco Wittmann. At the Nürburgring, he scored his 3rd win of the season.
You just won our home race, Marco. Thank you.
Moreover, he finished 3rd on Sunday. The 26-year-old is making big steps towards his 2nd DTM title.
Well, I mean, it was a good weekend. We scored a lot of points and we extended the lead. Now for us it's important to keep the focus high.
He is 33 points ahead of his new closest rival, Eduardo Mortara. The Audi driver was the 2nd big winner in the Eiffel. In the first race, he still missed out on a podium finish, but in the second race, he managed to win.
It was a perfect Sunday race with a good start, a good strategy, a good pit stop, and a good race pace.
Mercedes and Robert Wickens were the losers of the weekend. Having arrived as the runner-up in the standings, he only scored 2 points. In the championship, the Canadian dropped back to 3rd. He's now 50 points down on Wittmann. His chances of winning the title are almost gone.
This is the first weekend where I wasn't one of the best Mercedes. Yeah, I feel like crap. I mean, it was just a terrible weekend.
The bright spot from the Mercedes perspective came from Lucas Auer. In both qualifying sessions, the Austrian posted the fastest time. With 2nd place in the race on Sunday, he underlined his upward trend. However, BMW remains the benchmark, leading all 3 standings. And next up is Hungary, the track where BMW and Marco Wittmann also proved to be unbeatable last time the DTM raced there in 2014.
So here I am at the car of Marco Wittmann while we're still waiting for him. Well, he's leading the championship, but only in P10. So it's going to be a very, very tough race for him, that is for sure. His mechanics are still working here in the last few minutes. And there I see him, so I'm going to run over to him and see Marco and see if I can just quickly ask him. Marco, just quickly. Not a good qualifying for you today, only starting in P10, and you don't have a lot of BMWs around you. So how are you going to manage the situation?
Well, I tried to have a good start, a good first lap. Maybe I can gain some positions. It will be tough. Audi was really strong today. So yeah, the aim is to score as many points as possible. So maybe we can make up some places and then we see where we end up.
Right. Well, you got to push hard. Thank you very much, Marco, and back to you.
Thank you, Verena. So, Marco Wittmann then with hard work to do from P10 on the grid. But if anyone is capable of doing it, and doing it here at the Hungaroring, then he is, because last time here in 2014, he was indeed victorious. The best of the Mercedes-Benz is Felix Rosenqvist, but here comes the grid in full for you. It's an Audi lockout on row 1 with Eduardo Mortara P1 and Jamie Green going from P2. Then we find Miguel Molina P3, and alongside him is Mike Rockefeller P4. Nico Muller then and Adrian Tombe P5 and P6. Then we find Timo Scheider and Matthias Ekström completing that Audi lineup. What a qualifying for them. Felix Rosenqvist, who we briefly saw, goes from P9, and the championship leader Marco Wittmann then with work to do from P10. Tom Blomqvist and Martin Tomczyk are on the next row of the grid, row 6. We find Timo Glock and Maxime Martin, who will be investigated after the race for an unsafe release, potentially during qualifying. Daniel Juncadella and Christian Vitoris are on row 8. And then it's Robert Wickens, P17, and Gary Paffett, P18. Antonio Felix da Costa goes from P20 following a grid drop, and it's Augusto Farfus, P19. Then on the 11th row, it's Bruno Spengler and Paul de Resta. Then we find Lucas Sauer and Maximilian Goertz bringing up the last row of the grid. So we've heard from Marco. Let's hear from Jens Marquardt now with Verena.
So Jens Marquardt, it's going to be a very tough day for you, I think, with your best man, Marco Wittmann, being in P10. And I guess after this race, for the rest of the season, we're going to see a pretty tight fight between Edo and Marco. What do you say?
Well, it has been tight all season, and that's what we wanted to have, a very tight championship till the line. I mean, obviously, I would have wished for a bit of a better situation here on Saturday, but it's what it is, and it's still a 40-minute race, and we'll give it all. And then there is another race tomorrow with a stop, and the weights have already been slightly adjusted, so we'll just try everything we can to keep it, obviously, with the momentum on our side, but it's not easy.
All right, thank you very much. Best of luck for the race, and back to you.
Thanks, Verena. So, yes, Jens Marquardt admitting it's not going to be easy as we look at Matthias Ekström then. Go hard or go home. Into his car, and these two races across this weekend will be his final two in season 2016 in DTM, because he misses the Hockenheim round due to rallycross commitments. Timo Scheider, a very good qualifying from Timo to go from P7 on the grid. Reinforcing the dominance of Audi during qualifying then. Timo Scheider goes from P7. It's a super qualifying from this young man as well, Adrian Tombe. P6 in quali, that 135.589 did it for him. And there we look at Nico Muller. Also doing a fine job in qualifying. He's at 135.525, giving him P5. So supreme dominance from Audi during qualifying. They'd looked very good in FP2, but we've learned our lesson with regards to FP2 and the difference between that and qualifying. But on this occasion, it certainly was sheer dominance that they were showing, and Audi have had a great time of it. Eduardo Mortara and Jamie Green, of course, on the front row. Molina and Rockefeller, and then this man and Adrian Tombe going from P5 for this man, Nico Muller, and P6 for Adrian Tombe. So here then is our P4 sitter, former champion Mike Rockefeller for the Phoenix team. The Schaeffler liveried car, the RS5, there you can see from Mike Rockefeller. Good qualifying from him, and he will be hoping for good things from there. Marco Wittmann then, the man that leads the championship, has got to go from P10 with a bunch of Audis to get past. We're back at the Hungaroring circuit. for the first time since 2014. And there is the grid on screen for you. Mortara Green, Molina, Rockenfeller, Muller, Tombe, Scheider, Ekstrom, Rosenquist, Wittmann, then Blomqvist and Tomczyk. Ahead of Glock, Martin, Juncadeo, Vitoris, Wickens, Paffett, Farfus, Felix da Costa, Spengler, De Resta, Auer and Maximilian Gertz, bringing up the rear. Back in 2014, it was Wittmann, Molina and Spengler, the 1, 2, 3. But back in 2014, of course, we only had one DTM race. Nowadays, we have two across the weekend, and it's the shorter one today. And Miguel Molina then goes from P3 on the grid. Be hoping to certainly match his result from 2014, where he took P2. And Jamie Green, who is P4 in the championship, just a point behind Robert Wickens. Again, another supreme performance in qualifying for Jamie Green. He's at 1:35.364, giving him P2 on the grid. But it was all about this man, Eduardo Mortara. He is going from pole position. What can he do from there? Well, Mercedes-Benz head of DTM is Uli Fritz. What can he do to put it all right?
What can he do? Pretty poor qualifying results for Mercedes-Benz. Your best men, Wickens and De Resta, in 17 and 22. So the question is, what can you do? And does that mean you're waving the hope for the driver's title goodbye?
Yeah, not yet. I mean, we are in racing, and you never give up hope before it's finally over. So. Yeah, it's not ideal. It will be difficult, but I think we were quite prepared for that, because 25 kilos of performance weight is just something in DTM which is difficult. And you can see Felix, he again did an amazing job in qualifying, put the best car on P9. Best of the rest behind all the Audis. So yeah, we'll see what we can do for the race, but it will be difficult, yeah.
Sure it will. Best of luck. Thank you very much, and back to you.
Cheers, Verena. Yes, Uli making the point that the Mercedes are the heaviest car and paying the price for that in terms of their qualifying performance, with the best Mercedes-Benz, Felix Rosenquist, going from P9. Okay, in the Drivers' Championship, there you can see the Marco Wittmann margin ahead of Eduardo Mortara, and then Robert Wickens and Jamie Green still in with a theoretical chance, but with Eduardo Mortara going from pole position, you have to fancy a big points haul going his way, and that's exactly what Dieter Gas will be thinking as well. But he must be absolutely thrilled with his quali result. Top 8 cars, Verena.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. Dieter Gas, what an amazing qualifying result. All Audis in top 8 and your best man in pole. Couldn't go any better. So I guess only technical problems could stop Mortara from winning, because I guess we can't really expect the colleagues to attack Mortara, can we?
No, they shouldn't really, but you never know. I mean, it's a long race now, no pit stop, so everything has to happen on the track. We need to make sure to have a good getaway, and then I hope we can have a similar result as we have seen today in the qualifying.
All right, well, best of luck. Thank you very much. And that's it from me for now. Back to you, back to the race.
Thanks so much, Verena, for all your hard work down there, getting quotes from everybody that we need to hear from. And as Dieter Gas says, it is a 40-minute, it's almost a sprint race for this man, Eduardo Mortara, going from pole position. Strategy cannot play a part, because it's just down to what happens down there on track. No pit stops. So it's all down to the getaway. But as Verena made the point, and so too did Dieter Gas, great advantage that Eduardo Mortara has is he's got 7 Audi drivers around him to protect him. So even if his start was not absolutely perfect, he's still not going to have too much trouble, I would suggest. Of course, lurking P4 in the points is Jamie Green. Factor that in for a moment. So best of the Mercedes, P9, Felix Rosenquist. Best of the BMWs, the championship leader, P10, Marco Wittmann. A good crowd here. Last time we were here, back in 2014, there was some 33,000 spectators here for race day. And there's a very healthy looking crowd here to enjoy the DTM race action today. The cars are set on grid. 40-minute race to come for DTM as we reach the final stages of the championship for 2016, and the cars are released on their formation lap. There goes Marco Wittmann then. The man who really has got it all to do from P10. What can he find? Well, he's been successful here in previous races. Certainly trying to find the pace in qualifying. Didn't go quite his way. Well, he should make the point that it's 6/10 between P1 and P10, where Marco Wittmann starts from. So the grid and graphics once again for you: Mortara, Green, Molina, Rockenfeller, Muller, Tombe, Scheider and Ekstrom occupying the first 4 rows. Then we find Felix Rosenqvist and Marco Wittmann, Tom Blomqvist, Martin Tomczyk, then it's Timo Glock, Maxime Martin, Daniel Juncadeo and Christian Vitoris. And the final third of the grid, it's Robert Wickens, Gary Paffett, Augusto Farfus, Antonio Felix da Costa, who announced his retirement from DTM. And also taking a grid drop in this race, and Bruno Spengler, Paul di Resta, Lucas Au and Maximilian Gertz. That's the way it looks then as the cars snake their way through this undulating Hungaroring circuit. Super bit of camera art there. Making their way back to the grid on their formation lap right now. 40 minutes race duration. Eduardo Mortara going from pole position, followed by a further 7 Audi cars. As you can see, the lap record is held by Nico Müller. It was a 1:37.556 on this 4.3 kilometre circuit. So the cars are rounding turn 13 now, heading towards turn number 14. Air temperature is very pleasant, 21.5, track temperature 25. Conditions, I would suggest, just about perfect for DTM racing. So cars around turn 14. Pit in starts from the exit of turn 13. And Eduardo Mortara, of course, being guided into his box now. Whoa! The 3-2-1 came very quickly from his engineer, but stop is in his grid box. Here comes Marco Wittmann then to line up in his.
3, 2, 1, stop. Perfect.
So, Jens Marquardt, then Uli Fritz, and finally Dieter Gas. Those responsible for the DTM efforts of those manufacturers. BMW, Mercedes-Benz, but it's Audi that have the first 4 rows. Lights go out, and a fantastic start from Eduardo Mortara as the cars all get away and head into turn number 1 and start the downhill section. Going out onto the grass there, Daniel Juncadeo, a mid-order down the grid. And look at Marco Wittmann already trying to make up so many places, getting past to Matthias Ekstrom. So Marco Wittmann knows exactly what he's got to do, and Matthias Ekstrom looks all around. There is Felix Rosenqvist just to his left-hand side then, and you can see, whoa, and we go on board just as he goes around. So, extraordinary that we were actually on board with Matthias Ekstrom as he turned around. Now, was he pushed into that, or was that all brought about by a mistake? I suspect not. We will get a replay of that very, very soon, but it was great to be on board with Matthias Ekstrom just as he pirouetted that car around. So as they make their way through the chicane of turn 6 and turn 7 then. The order of Mortara, Green and Molina with Mike Rockenfeller. And Marco Wittmann, having made up 3 places already, obviously does mean business and wants to bank as many points as possible. We're on board with Robert Wickens, who he's got a fantastic start as well, and that was a real overtake against Blomqvist. So Wickens is another one on an absolute charge here to try and maximise his points haul in the early stages of this race. Great start from Robert Wickens as they cross the timing line for first completed lap. So the incident in turn 2, which we were on board the Matthias Ekstrom car with, is under investigation. So So the downhill section here as Augusto Farfus runs out into the runoff area. And panel rubbing between the BMW and the Mercedes there, but out front, Eduardo Mortara and Jamie Green just beginning. Just beginning to eke out a gap. And so Augusto Farfus straight on the radio with regards to that conduct from Paul di Resta. And there is the Farfus car now with di Resta ahead. And here in replay then, well, it was a bit of a chain reaction. 2-3 cars involved in that, and good avoiding action by a couple of the Mercedes. And let's go on board with the splitter cam here to see. It's just the reactions from Matthias Ekstrom's eyes, and onto the pit perch with Hans-Jürgen Abt then looking on. So Mortara with 9/10 over Jamie Green. And Marco Wittmann, P7 with Felix Rosenqvist, the Mercedes driver behind him. So as they cross the timing line now, well, the gap between Mortara and Green has come down by 3/10. Of course, DRS is enabled now. And here comes Marco Wittmann chasing down that Audi of Nico Müller that's running in P6. Of course, the more points that Marco Wittmann can bank, really supporting and helping his championship charge. Crucially, not too far behind is Robert Wickens, who's into the points, running in P10 now. And he has ahead of him Timo Scheider, who's certainly not going to do him any favours, but he can expect some support from Felix Rosenqvist, who is running in P8. That incident then between Maxime Martin, Ekstrom, under investigation. Also involved in that was Martin Tomczyk as well. We're on board with Robert Wickens now, running in P10, chasing down that very, very rapid Audi ahead of Timo Scheider. Now, ideal for Robert Wickens would be for Felix Rosenqvist to back Timo Scheider up into the clutches, if you like, of Robert. And we'll see what happens. Just 5 minutes into the race, 40 minutes. And Mortara and Green very, very close. Now, both of them are in the championship chase. Eduardo Mortara is significantly better off in the points than Jamie Green, but there is still possibilities for Jamie Green to take the championship. So I wonder how this is going to be played out by Audi. Edo Mortara is at the moment the one with the advantage, but Jamie Green is really closing down and has taken another 10th out of Eduardo Mortara's lead. It's just down to 5/10 between the two of them now as they head into turn number 1. Robert Wickens, for all his worth, throwing absolutely everything, and a big, big lock up into turn 1. Augusto Farfus and Paul di Resta are still fighting and squabbling there over that P16 position, which is currently occupied by Paul di Resta. But Augusto Farfus taking a look on the outside of di Resta now. We can see it from being on board with Lucas Auer. And just a repeat of that incident being investigated after the race that involved Tomczyk, Ekstrom. So our race leader through the chicane at turn 6 and turn 7. Then the rest of the cars come through. And Jamie is getting ever closer, as you can see from the last 3 laps on screen. And this is going to be a fascinating, fascinating inter-manufacturer battle between the two of them, because they're, as I said, both in with a mathematical chance of being able to take the championship. Mortara is better placed than Jamie Green, no question about that, but Jamie is certainly not letting Eduardo get away as they round the turn 13 and head towards turn 14. It was 5/10 last time around. And they cross the timing line, and Mortara has taken another, well, he's reclawed a couple of tenths back, but it is seesawing by those couple of tenths, that's all. Here's a replay of the start. Mortara getting a good getaway. So to Marco Wittmann and Robert Wickens as well. See it from the camera up high, right at the back of the grid. onto the grass there, but Mortara doing everything that he needed to do. Jamie Green, his car into P2, and that's where Marco Wittmann really made the difference going into turn number 1. It was real elbows out, and he was going to have a go. There was elbows out here as well. Tomczyk onto Ekstrom. It was Maxime Martin behind them. And very, very good work there by the two Mercedes drivers to try and avoid that. On board from Marco Wittmann then, the getaway was just perfect. And he maintained this acceleration all the way over the crest and heading into turn number 1, and then dived up the inside and was so confident on the brakes. It was an absolutely brilliant move by Marco Wittmann to vault himself up the order at that point. On board of the Muka Motorsport car now, as we can see everything unfolding and going out wide, and opposite lock having to be used to control that car. And looking back, we can see and some aero flicks that have come off one of the cars there. See them flying through the air, and Maxime Martin and Tomczyk, and of course Matthias Ekstrom, all very, very close together there, right in the center of your picture. And they were all going to come to blows at the next turn. Saw Eki going all the way around. So back to the live race, and we're on board with Marco Wittmann now, who's running in P7. He's got the rapid Nico Muller ahead of him, and the margin between them two is not much at all, but crucially it's a BMW chasing an Audi, and all very well Marco can get right to the back of Nico, but he's got to try and find a way past him as well, and that is going to come very difficult, I would suggest. Margin between Mortara and Green is 8 tenths. And then there's some 2.8 tenths back to Miguel Molina. So there, Marco Wittmann leading the championship and running in P7 at the moment, as the LED in the quarter light indicates. So lit up at P7. Space of the first 10 minutes of the race is made up 3 places. So next in the order, though, Felix Rosenqvist, Timo Scheider and Robert Wickens. Robert Wickens now beginning to be pushed a little bit by Daniel Juncadella. And he is certainly getting ever closer now to Timo Scheider. So this is where Felix Rosenqvist might be able to do Rob Wickens a favour here. So Scheider, the one that Robert really needs to get past. Robert Wickens currently running just in the points for P10. Another couple of places would do his points all no harm at all, but at the moment Mortara with that 1.3 second margin over Jamie Green is looking very, very good indeed. Now Timo Scheider senses the fact that Felix Rosenqvist is going to make that Mercedes-Benz as wide as possible, and knows that he's got to get the hurry up on now to get past him, because he's got Robert Wickens bearing down on him now as they go downhill here at this Hungaroring circuit. Head right out to the back. Robert Wickens runs very, very wide, though. That will have cost him perhaps a tenth in his quest to get on terms with the driver that's currently running in P9, and that is Timo Scheider. Ahead of him is the newcomer and confirmed for the remainder of the season, Felix Rosenqvist, current FIA Formula 3 European champion, incidentally. Through the chicane they go and head towards turn number 8. On board with Lucas Auer, who's running in P18. He's got the Paul di Resta car ahead of him now. Augusto Farfus having muscled his way past.
I think it's safe to drive. Continue.
So di Resta obviously with a problem on his car. Being advised if it's safe to do so, then continue. P3 is Miguel Molina. P4 then is Mike Rockefeller.
Yeah.
There is Timo Scheider. Antonio Felix da Costa. We saw a glimpse of a moment ago. It was announced that at the end of 2016 he'll be off to maintain his campaign in Formula E, and also some selected GT outings as well. On board with our race leader, Eduardo Mortara, 1.4 seconds to the good over Jamie Green. into the rumble strips. There's Jamie Green then running in P2. Through the chicane they go. Take quite a bit of curb through there, as does Molina, who's down there in P3. So Mortara then, presumably, having found the pace to open the gap up to Jamie Green. Green doesn't get the benefit of DRS either, come to that. So it's the man that's chasing really hard, though, Robert Wickens, who hasn't been able to reel in Timo Scheider. We know how quick the Audis are. We know how heavy the Mercedes-Benz cars are. Certainly doing everything he possibly can. And trying perhaps just a bit too hard, and that costs valuable time. So there is the number 88 car of Felix Rosenqvist running in P8, ahead of Timo Scheider. And Robert Wickens is that follows the Audi of Timo Scheider right now. Rosenqvist then showing good pace. And we have 26.5 minutes of the race left to run. Left-hand side of the screen, Mortara, Green, Molina, Rockefeller, Tombe, Muller, and it's Wittmann, Rosenqvist, Scheider, and Wickens rounding out the top 10. Wittmann then, who seemingly is not able to get close to Nico Muller. Muller with fantastic pace. It was a 1:37.954 for Muller last time round, whereas at 1:38.147 for Marco Wittmann.
You will have 2 more laps of DRS, that car in front. 2 more laps of DRS. 17 laps to go, 17.
So DRS usage, of course, restricted during the course of the 2016 season. You cannot use it for the entire race. So Robert being advised that he will be in a slightly advantageous position of Timo Scheider come towards the end of the race, where he'll have DRS available to him and Scheider will not have. See the Mercedes bouncing its way and creating sparks off the new asphalt here at the Hungaroring in his quest to chase down that Timo Scheider Audi. Super slow-mo replay, and that's how it affects the driver inside the car. So Green has clawed a little bit back on Mortara now. The margin is down to 1 second. Now as well. Just 5/10 between Daniel Juncadella and Robert Wickens, and there you can see just how close those two are getting. I think it's unlikely that Juncadella will try and overtake move on Robert Wickens. And here is the championship prediction. The way it's looking at the moment, it'd be Wittmann on 176, Mortara on 162, Green on 137, Wickens on 121. That's the way it would look if we were to finish the race right now. So Marco Wittmann definitely benefiting from the start that he had. Wickens also pretty lively too, when you consider he started back there P17. So into the points, but only just. So if he could find himself ahead of Felix Rosenqvist, be of huge benefit in terms of the points haul. There's the Lucas Auer car that we can see running in P17. Before we see the number 13 machine of Antonio Felix da Costa. There's Gary Paffett in all this, running in P20 at the moment. And that was forceful between Antonio Felix da Costa and Paul di Resta in replay. No love lost between the two of those in this race thus far. See the damage caused to the Aeroflex right on the right in front of Paul di Resta's car. That incident is under investigation as well. Now focuses his attention on Matthias Ekström. Of course, is running down there in penalty at the moment because of the turnaround right at the on the opening lap of the race. So on board now as he chases down Gary Paffett. Split cam is absolutely fantastic. And all of a sudden, Jamie Green has got the hurry-up pedal used to its full extent, because the margin between himself and Eduardo Mortara has now come down to just 7/10. So as they head towards the timing line again, I would say that Mortara's clawed a little bit of that back now as they cross the timing line. Let's give you the live margin between them. Well, actually, it remains exactly the same, as Jamie Green really on the heavy on the brakes as he gets ever so close to Eduardo Mortara now running into turn number 1. There's the margin between the two of them over the last 3 laps in this DTM race here at the Hungaroring. Just about 25-30 minutes or so from central Budapest. So Eduardo Mortara not doing anything wrong at all, and the two of them are now some 3.3 seconds up the road ahead of Miguel Molina, who's running in P3, and he in turn is a couple of seconds ahead of Mike Rockefeller, that's running in P4, who also has over a second's margin over Tombe, before we get to that battle between Muller, Wittmann, Felix Rosenqvist and Timo Scheider and Robert Wickens for the remaining points-paying positions. Investigation, the incident that we saw between Antonio Felix da Costa and Paul di Resta. A little bit of barging going on between the two of them. So there is Molina down there in 3rd, Rockefeller P4. And it's Tombe and Muller before we find Marco Wittmann, Felix Rosenqvist, Timo Scheider and Robert Wickens, who has within a second behind him Daniel Juncadella running in P11. No further action going to be taken on the incident between Antonio Felix da Costa and Paul di Resta. It's all been put down to a racing incident, and Paul di Resta has retired his car, presumably damage inflicted and received in that dice with Antonio Felix da Costa. So it's a retirement for the Mercedes driver Paul di Resta. So retirement is certainly in the pit. Quite see from our vantage point here whether the car has gone into the garage or not, but Molina and Rockefeller then, this uphill section through the turn. Wittmann out on his own a bit in P7, not able to reel in Muller, and yeah, confirmation then by dint of we see him walking away of Paul di Resta, sadly out of the race. Was the contact between himself and Antonio Felix da Costa that did for him, I think. Here's Matthias Ekstrom on the inside of Gary Paffett. So he moves up to P19 now by taking curbs, concrete, grass as well. 7/10 between Mortara and Green. And the rest of them all holding station, really rather out on their own. Rosenqvist then running in P8. Made his DTM debut, of course, earlier in 2016, and has confirmed the continuation of the campaign right till the end of the season. Here's Robert Wickens. It's been oh so frustrating for him to know that he's not got the pace to reel in the Timo Scheider car ahead of him. He certainly has been unable to do so. That we have done so far. Rosenqvist is lapping 138.325. Wickens is quicker, 138.207, and Scheider then 138.302. So Eduardo Mortara so hard and focused inside that car. Comes here, of course, with brimming with confidence following his victory in the second race at the Nürburgring. The longer race, this though, the shorter race. And it was really interesting at the Nürburgring. Audi using strategy to make it work for their drivers. As both Tara and Green stayed out for a very, very long time, but it worked. Okay, this is Lucas Auer, who's chasing Augusto Farfus. It's the battle that's going over between these two for P16 and P17. Augusto P16 at the moment, Lucas Auer is P17. So the Muka Mercedes driver that we're on board with right now. And this is the shot from just outside his car. Muller and Tombe across the timing line, 6/10 between the two of them, running in P5 and P6. Muller ahead now of Adrien Tombe, and now beginning to just pull away. So Muller with superior pace to Adrien Tombe then. Tara Green, Molina, Rockefeller. Then it's Muller, Tombe. Marco Wittmann, P7. Is he going to be able to claw in the Tombe car? And that's how the overtake happened. Muller getting past Adrien Tombe. So there was no huge defence there from Adrien Tombe, that's for sure. Nico Muller running P8 in the points, whereas Adrien Tombe is down there P19, so there's a reason for that. Okay, Eduardo Mortara and Jamie Green continue the Audi Fest right at the front. So we've been watching Tombe and Muller swap places for P5, and as I say, perhaps no surprise given the point situation. Now, the gap has really been seesawing between Eduardo Mortara and Jamie Green. It was 8/10 last time, remains 8/10 now as they cross the timing line. It has been as low as 5/10, but that's as close as Jamie Green has got. Both of them have left Miguel Molina in their wake, and this is Lucas Auer on Augusto Farfus. And the battle that is continuing to rage for P17 at the moment. It's P16 actually, Farfus is in, and P17 for Lucas Auer. So now, can Auer do it? Running into turn number 1. He's going to go for a move here to the outside of Augusto Farfus. If anyone can go around the outside, Lucas Auer can do it. He's proved it before, specifically at Zandvoort, and he does it again at the Hungaroring.
Well done, well done. Keep going.
Very good overtake from the Muka Motorsport driver Lucas Auer there, who goes past Augusto Farfus. Absolute confidence and commitment, confidence in the car, commitment in what he needed to do. And let's see it again in replay. Gets right alongside Farfus, and then all the way around the outside Auer goes. It's the overtake of the weekend at Zandvoort, and he's just done it all over again at the Hungaroring. This is our race leader, Eduardo Mortara, 8/10 to the good over Jamie Green, who is running in P2. Molina is 4 seconds back in P3, 4.2 to be absolutely exact, and it's Mike Rockefeller P4, further 1.7 down. So Mortara and Green really are in a class of their own at the front of the order. It's only the top 5 cars that are running in the 137s. Everyone else is in the 38s or below. So the pace that Mortara, Green, Molina, Rockefeller and Muller have in their Audis superior to every other car on track. Best of the BMWs. Marco Wittmann, P7. Best of the Mercedes-Benz. Felix Rosenqvist, P8. There is our P7 driver, Marco Wittmann. See the Adrien Tombe car in the distance, but Tombe's consistently 2 or 3 tenths a bit quicker than Marco Wittmann, so Wittmann not able to reduce that gap sufficiently to be able to get close enough. So Wittmann then in the points. We gave you the championship prediction just a little while ago. If the results at the end of the race were as it's looking. And there indeed is the championship prediction on screen once again for you. So 176 is going to play 162 to 137 and 121 with, after this race, another 3 races before the end of the 2016 DTM campaign. So there, the Red Bull liveried Marco Wittmann car. Last time we were here, the Hungaroring was back in 2014 and he was victorious. Eduardo Mortara and Jamie Green in this super slow-mo replay of our P1 and P2 drivers who have that gap of 9/10 between them. And here they come live on screen now. Eduardo Mortara leading, winner in race 2 at the Nürburgring and hoping to add race 1 at the Hungaroring to his tally for 2016. And with 11.5 minutes of the race remaining, looking in a very good position to be able to do that. Both been lapping, as I say, consistently in the 137s, and it is hundredths that Green is able to take out of Mortara in terms of lap time. Interestingly, Molina dropped a bit during the last lap, going into the 138s, but there you can see the margin remains at 9/10 between the two of them. So all the Audis running in the 137s, whereas the rest of the pack running in 138s, including actually the Audi of Timo Scheider and Adrian Tombe as well. Ahead we can see the car of Antonio Felix da Costa, because we're on board with that fantastic splitter cam that we have on board the Matthias Ekström car, who's running down there in P19 following his pirouette, enforced pirouette right at the start of the race, involved with Maxime Martin and Martin Tomczyk. So there is Matthias Ekström chasing down the car of Antonio Felix da Costa, Portuguese driver who announced this weekend then at the end of the 2016 DTM campaign, we're heading to focus fully on his Formula E racing and also some selected GT outings for BMW as well. He runs wide, and that should have played into the hands of Matthias Ekström, but we switched to being on board with Lucas Auer, who's running in P16, and lonely distance up ahead is Bruno Spengler. You can just see disappearing around the next turn as we stay on board with Lucas Auer now. And there he is in the pink-coloured Muka Motorsport car. Here's Eduardo Mortara then, our race leader. 9/10 to the good over P2, Jamie Green. Some 5.5 seconds further back on Jamie Green is Miguel Molina. So the top two then really out on their own and having nothing else to concern themselves with other than just maintaining their balance, maintaining their incredible lap times of 137.5s for the both of them. It was 9/10 last time around. It's down to 8.5 now, the gap between the two of them, as then it's Molina and Rockefeller running P4, P3 and P4. Then it's Muller and Tombe. And there is Marco Wittmann again out on his own, and then it's Felix Rosenqvist and Timo Scheider and Robert Wickens, none of whom seem to be able to make an impression on those that they're targeting ahead. So Wittmann then in the BMW. Some 17.9 seconds down then on Mortara, and we have under 10 minutes of the race remaining. So at the moment looking likely to bank points for P7, which is going to narrow the margin and make it oh so exciting going into tomorrow's race, which of course is a longer race with that mandatory pit stop, where just maybe strategy will be able to play a part, as it did at the Nürburgring, that's for sure. And we could see much of the same again tomorrow. But as a teaser for what's to come tomorrow, race number 1 here in this weekend at the Hungaroring for DTM as we return after an absence of 2015. We're into 2016 and the race is being led by this man, Eduardo Mortara. Crosses the timing line once again. And he's increased by 0.3 the margin between himself and Jamie Green. And it's the way it's going to seesaw, I imagine, for the remaining 7 minutes of the race. Molina out on his own, Rocky out on his own, Muller out on his own. Then we find Timo Scheider. Sorry, Adrian Tombe, P6. Then it's Marco Wittmann. Before we find Felix Rosenqvist, and then, of course, Timo Scheider, who in the points, P9, and Robert Wickens also just into the points, P10. So doing everything he possibly can, Marco Wittmann, but just not having the pace. He's consistently running about 0.4 down on the Tombe car ahead. And just go back on board with Matthias Ekström now, who's still chasing down Antonio Felix da Costa, and Augusto Farfus, the 2 BMWs ahead of him. And as Matthias Ekström is getting involved in this battle, it's Christian Vitoris who's getting a bit closer in the second of the pink Muka Motorsport cars there. There's Augusto Farfus running in P17. Then Antonio Felix da Costa and Matthias Ekström. Now, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen, Timo Scheider, the driver in P9, is now out of DRS. You'll recall the team message to Robert Wickens earlier that said he was always going to have the benefit of DRS come the end stages of the race. He was going to have it available to him, whereas they knew Timo Scheider would run out, and that's exactly what has happened. So it's now or never for Robert Wickens to try and claw in that Timo Scheider Audi. Of course, not only has he got to claw in the car, he's got to find a way past as well. So any of the driver markings on the left-hand side of your screen on the graphics, when they turn to red, it means that they have used up all their DRS allocation for today's race, and the first to do so is Timo Scheider, currently running in P9. Back to this battle then, which is the battle that's going on for P17. There's Antonio Felix da Costa, who is P17. Christian Vitoris just taking a look at the inside of the Matthias Ekström car, and he in turn, as we go on board with him now, chasing down that Augusto Farfus red and white BMW right ahead that you can see from that fantastic onboard position that we have. Vitoris of them all, though, is looking the most lively here on the back of Matthias Ekström, I would suggest. So keep our eyes on this battle just for a moment. It's much further down the order, but then everything up front seems pretty settled and sorted at the moment. So there's Augusto Farfus, who is, by dint of having to defend from Matthias Ekström and Christian Vitoris now, plays into the hands of Antonio Felix da Costa, who through turns 6 and 7, the chicane, is able to get up the road as Matthias Ekström gets up the inside of Augusto Farfus on the exit of the chicane. And there's contact between the two of them, and Christian Vitoris is going to be the big beneficiary. He takes 2 in 1. So as those two were squabbling and panel rubbing between each other,
we report to the race director.
Christian Vitoris rubbed his hands with invisible soap and said, "Thanks very much, I'm going to have some of that," and moves up 2 places. Extraordinary. So Eki did get past him, but not without some elbows out muscling between the two of them, and the big beneficiary was the Mercedes driver Christian Vitoris. Also out of DRS now, as you can see from the name turning red on the left-hand side of your screen, is Timo Glock. So as those two were squabbling, Christian Vitoris just said, "Thanks very much." They both ran out wide. I will take advantage of this, and dived up the inside. To be fair, it was a little oversteer on the Farfus car that allowed Ekström the opportunity. And he did seize the opportunity, but in so doing, both of them getting together, and that allowing Christian Vitouris to take advantage. Meantime, back to P1 and P2, where the margin between them, guess, 9/10, or it was last time around.
3 laps to go.
It's actually increased now by 0.4 to 1.3, so Mortara Green looking untroubled in the remaining 4 laps of this race. Mortara Green, Molina, Rockefeller, Muller, Tombe. Wittmann running in P7, then it's Rosenqvist, Scheider, and Robert Wickens is now, even with the benefit of DRS, still not able to get on terms with Timo Scheider. Hans-Jürgen Abt then on the pit wall. Edo Mortara then on the track through the chicane. He goes. Looking very comfortable indeed. And then into the BMW garages we go. And on board the BMW of Marco Wittmann then. Done absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, had a phenomenal start. Brilliant to watch that in replay as on board. He just went up the inside and was absolutely so committed and so confident in his braking ability into turn number 1. Took a number of cars right at the very start. And has remained in that P7 position pretty much ever since, to be honest. Out on his own, not troubled by Felix Rosenqvist behind him, and himself not being able to trouble Adrien Tombe ahead. Let's go on board with Eduardo Mortara, our race leader, with 2 more laps to do. He has a 1.6 second margin over Jamie Green, so it's all going very well for the Abt Sportsline driver. Did the hard work, you could argue, in qualifying, but didn't really ever appear to be hard work. The Audi's really having the pace and, of course, having the weight advantage as well, as Edo still, despite everything, throws it all at the car and beyond. Super slow-mo shot of Eduardo Mortara at work then, leading this race. But all of the Audi cars have looked just poised and comfortable. We've had one retirement, that being Paul di Resta, the Mercedes-Benz driver. Heading towards the final turn, turn 14 now for Eduardo Mortara and Jamie Green.
Last lap.
So just one more lap for Edo to do what he's done pretty much for every other single lap in this race, and that's just drive it perfectly. He's remained quick. He's a 10th quicker than Jamie Green last time around. Here's Molina, who's running in P3. He's going to be untroubled by Mike Rockefeller over this, the final lap. So Edo doing what Edo does best in the Audi. Great onboard shot that we can show you as he just perfectly kisses the apex of the turn, gets the exit exactly right, as he has done for countless laps earlier. And it has been the mark of an assured drive from Eduardo Mortara. As I mentioned, he certainly came to the Hungaroring brimming with confidence after a good win at the Nürburgring. Hans-Jürgen Abt then on the pit wall. And there he is, driver Eduardo Mortara. Jamie Green, who's been stoic in P2. And that remains the case now. as Eduardo Mortara has one more turn to do before he will see the checkered flag and see his charge on the championship advantaged significantly. Eduardo Mortara wins race 1.
E Mortadella colpisce ancora. Well done, well done.
So, nice bit of Italian.
Please save fuel, take pickups.
I need Wittmann finish.
P7, P7.
Straight away, all he wants to know is where.
That's 1, 2, 4, 5 points.
14 points difference now.
So straight away, Mortara interested.
Congrats to all of you guys for the nice victory, for the night. Frank, it's a beautiful day.
So wanted to know.
Congratulations, Ada. Congratulations, and thanks for the birthday present. Thanks, my friend.
Wanted to know the points difference between
Yeah,
yourself.
I mean, the chicken days are booked for you, Thomas. The chicken days are booked for you.
Thanks very much.
So congratulations all across the Audi pit wall then. And Eduardo Mortara wins race 15 in DTM for season 2016. And Hans-Jürgen Abt must be utterly delighted. Verina's got him already.
Oh, he is so utterly delighted, I'm sure. Congratulations, Hans-Jürgen Abt. That was a fantastic race. And also, Edo is closing the gap to Wittmann with 14 points. So it's getting tighter and tighter in the championship. How excited are you about today?
I'm really excited because Edo did a great job the whole weekend. And he won the race, and it's good for the championship. 14 points is not so much. We have a race tomorrow. We will really fight for everything.
I'm sure you will. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Back to you.
Well, it looks like the championship is going to go all the way to Hockenheim, which is, of course, exactly what we want to happen. Edo can do great things here on this Hungaroring circuit, as he has proved, as we see him cross that timing line, and Wolfgang Ulrich with his thumbs up to say well done. So 14 points the margin then. Dieter Gas looking pretty happy as well. His media briefing this evening will be an enjoyable one, I feel sure. So great job from Eduardo Mortara, to echo what Mr. Abt was saying. Has done everything absolutely right. So too, Jamie Green, it has to be said, and here is the confirmation of the result. Mortara taking the win from Green and Molina. Then it was Rockenfeller, Muller and Tombe, so the top 6, all Audis. Then it was Wittmann, Rosenquist and Timo Scheider. Robert Wickens does finish in the points, but down there in P10. Then it was Junkadea, Martin, Blomqvist, Glock, Spengler, Auer, Da Costa, Vittoris Ekstrom, Farfus, Paffett, Tomczyk and Maximilian Gertz. And the only retirement from the race was Paul Di Resta. So there is Edo Mortara then. About to get out of his car. Molina pulls in alongside him. Jamie Green already on the other side. And Edo is out of the car. What about that? Really, really convincing drive from Eduardo Mortara. Congratulated straight away by Miguel Molina. And also by Jamie Green. Drivers will be off to be weighed, and then, of course, heading up to the podium. Mention of P4 for Mike Rockenfeller. His best result of the 2016 season. Seems extraordinary, doesn't it, to say that the best result for a driver as talented as Mike Rockenfeller is a P4, but that's the way it is, and that's how close and tight it is in the DTM. Nico Müller finishing P5. And in the championship then, fantastic. 176 points for Marco Wittmann, 162 for Edo Mortara, 137 for Jamie Green, and Robert Wickens on 1-2-1. That's the way it looks. And super slow-mos of the top three then. And coming home, P3, it's Miguel Molina. Taking P2 though, of course, the all-orange colours of Jamie Green. But taking the win in convincing style. 2 wins back-to-back for Eduardo Mortara. He's the winner of race 14 and race 15 here at the Hungaroring. And that's how pleased he was with that victory. Knows that he's done his championship charge the world of good today. Before we came here, we had no idea how it was going to look. And in truth, fears, of course, that the championship could be wrapped up this weekend. That looks ever so unlikely now. And it's going to go to the final round at Hockenheim, we hope, as the hard-working team of marshals survey some of the rubber that has come off the cars during the course of the race. And again, taking a look at the top three, who did a great job out there. Audis with phenomenal pace here at the Hungaroring. However, another race to come, of course, tomorrow. And it's the longer race with the mandatory pit stop, which means strategy might play a part. Miguel Molina, though, P3, is on the podium and he's with Verena.
Miguel, that was a fantastic race for you. You were pushing very, very hard, a very constant race. So how does it feel for you to be up on the podium in third place?
Yeah, today was a good day. Also in qualifying, we were really strong. Audi showed that here we were competitive, so we just tried to bring it home. A podium again is always a good feeling and a good point for the championship. So like we said, the car was good today. Edo also won the race. It's good for the championship. So yeah, at the end was a good race and good for Audi.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you very much, Miguel. Back to you.
Thanks, Verena. Certainly good, both for the Drivers' Championship and the Teams' Championship, as well as we see Tom Blomqvist walking down the pit lane now. He, of course, finished P13. And Molina, then, who we've been talking to, will be on the third step of the podium. Jamie Green, P2. Edo Mortara, P1. And just ahead of Tom Blomqvist, his fellow BMW driver, as we can see, walking down the pit lane as well, Maxime Martin. Marco Wittmann, we can see in the background of the picture there. And also Timo Glock. Timo Glock finishing down there, P14. And there is Marco Wittmann then, his P7 finish. I've hoped for better than that, but in truth, I think he did the absolute max that he probably could, and an awful lot of that was right at the very, very start of the race as well. So there, the Eduardo Mortara. I was going to say delight across his face. It didn't look like it in that particular image, but as the cars were released then at the start of the race, Edo doing everything right. Ugadea pushed towards the outside, but it was Marco Wittmann now, look, on the inside of Matthias Ekstrom. See it from on board the Eduardo Mortara car. Made sure he'd got that inside line going into turn number 1. Just a merest hint of oversteer. Controlled absolutely perfectly from the very start of the race right to the very end. So So Edo Mortara then victorious with Verena.
Victorious and very happy. Congratulations, Edo, to a perfect race. You really did an optimum job, absolutely ideal. And now you're 14 points behind Marco Wittmann. That means it's getting closer and closer. You've got to be absolutely thrilled.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I was not expecting this before coming here. I mean, 2 years ago, I mean, BMW was very strong here, and I mean, I was expecting it to, you know, to be a tough weekend, but so far it's turning to be a very, very, very positive weekend for us. We have a very good car that is suiting, I think, this new asphalt, this track, and I mean, it's got a really good balance and a good feeling, you know, when I'm driving it. So closing the gap, like you said, on Wittmann, and you know, it's looking a little bit better. It's still not looking good, but tomorrow there is another day, and we are going to push as much as today, and hopefully, you know, we can close even more the gap.
All right, then, best of luck, and now enjoy the moment on the podium. Back to you.
Thanks very much, Verena. I'm sure he is going to enjoy that moment on the podium, and he's going to push tomorrow. Of course he is, and push all the way to whatever he can achieve in the Championship 2016. He's certainly made his position an awful lot stronger with this victory here at the Hungaroring today. That's for sure. And there you can see just how pleased he was with the way everything has gone today. And he makes the fair point that new asphalt here at the Hungaroring, and just how strong BMW were here the last time we were here back in 2014. In fact, Marco Wittmann was the victor then, but best he could do today was to at least bank some points, but bank as many as Marco Wittmann would have liked to, which means Edoardo Mortara is now within shouting distance, isn't he, with another race to come tomorrow, which, as he has indicated, he will be pushing as hard as he possibly can. We would expect nothing less, of course. So everyone awaits at the bottom of the podium, or just underneath the podium, which the ceremony is about to get underway. There's Norbert Haug there, former head of Mercedes-Benz Motorsport, of course, now with media duties. And the driver's about to be called out onto the podium. And there is our race winner, Edoardo Mortara, who comes to the air with delight and climbs to the top step. To the step next to him will be Jamie Green. Let's hope they've got the flags in the right order this time around. They didn't at the Nürburgring. Dieter Gas also looking pretty happy. So Jamie then, make sure he's in the right place. And Miguel Molina on the podium as well. And we stand by for the national anthem to play out for Edo Mortara. Not always that you get the full version of the national anthem, but it's nice when you do, and Edoardo Mortara has enjoyed the full version today, and is about to be presented with a trophy. Phenomenal looking trophies up at Vidove, then the Hungarian Secretary of State makes the trophy presentation to one very happy Edoardo Mortara, winner, race 1 here at the Hungaroring. Byung-Rung Lee of Hankook Tire Budapest makes the team's trophy to Hans-Jürgen Abt. Just as happy as Edo Mortara did, to be truthful. Tomorrow then the Olympic champion making the trophy presentation to Jamie Green. And Norbert Kiss then, the European truck race champ, making the trophy presentation to Miguel Molina. So, drivers all pose for the obligatory photographs, of course. And then it'll be time for the champagne to be sprayed from the podium and down onto those gathered beneath, one of whom is Dieter Gas, that you can see there, the head of Audi's DTM programs. Hans-Jürgen Abt certainly gets totally soaked, and Jamie Green goes for a run-up. Fantastic. Well, Mortara, he can't even get the top off, look. In the celebrations, Eduardo Mortara is still unable to get the top off his bottle of Henkel. Oh, I give up, he says. I'll let them play about. We'll keep it for the garage afterwards. Well, Mr. Abt has been thoroughly soaked, shirt, trousers, the lot. Rat and drowned are the expressions that immediately spring to mind, but I think the towel is going to be somewhat inadequate. Well, great celebrations there, that's for sure. Well, the bottle that managed not to get opened is passed down to the team for them to enjoy. And there you can see, completely unopened, brand new bottle of Henkel. Keep an eye on eBay, shall we? Well, there, look at that. We'll have some of that in the garages. Okay, with Jamie Green now is Verena.
Congratulations, Jamie, to second place. That was a pretty tough race, and you were really fast. I mean, just between you and me, could you have overtaken?
Well, to be honest, it wasn't really in my mind, because we know that you know, Edo's got more points than me in the championship, and we're getting closer to the end of the season. So, to be honest, it was sensible not to risk anything for Audi. So we were never going to race each other properly, to be honest. So I just kept within the DRS range, just to keep Edo awake and use the advantage of the DRS, which you have when you follow. And yeah, we seem to drive away from everybody.
Absolutely. So looking forward to tomorrow. Let's see what tomorrow brings.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a good day for Audi, so I'm happy.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations, Jamie. And that's it from here for today. But tomorrow we've got another race, so we're hoping to see you then as well. For now, here are the highlights. Enjoy. Bye-bye.